Welcome to our KPC Daily Devotional. Let's begin by reading from the Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 25, the verses 31 and 32. When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory, and all the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. This week we've been hearing devotions from my forthcoming book, The Social World of Fleas. And for today, Cruel Fate. That's F-E-T-E, like a party. Cruel Fate. Cheyenne was given to us by an animal rescuer. Overwhelmed while rehabilitating a pack of aggressive pit bull terriers taken from a dogfighting ring, she feared she could no longer protect her own dog, this young white lab. She apologized for the ugly wounds to the inside of Cheyenne's ears. Bite marks from the fighting dogs, she said. We didn't contradict her, but I've seen scars like that before, and they don't come from dog bites. They're burns, cigarette burns. A human did that to her, on purpose. Judging by the size and angle of the scars, I would say a man, for this is a typical male thing, I guess, folded one long floppy ear across the top of her head and probably placed a lighted cigarette on it and told her to stay. Probably held out a treat as a reward if she obeyed. Then he waited to see how long she endured it, as the embers seared a painful black scar across her tender skin. He did it at least twice, once with each ear. Probably thought it was funny. Hey, y'all! Watch this! Wanton cruelty cloaked as a practical joke. Another of our rescue dogs, Duncan, is a tough, wire-haired dachshund. He was found as a runaway stray out in the country. He's affectionate, loves to be picked up, but you have to be gentle when you scratch him behind his ears, and you can't cradle him under the shoulders to lift him, or else he'll yelp sharply in pain. You see, at some point as a puppy, someone had to have picked him up by his ears. He'd also been picked up evidently by his front paws, and likely was swung round and round. Dogs aren't built for that, and it caused Duncan lifelong injuries. No wonder he ran away. And the cruelest part, whoever did it probably thought it was fun. The human potential for cruelty is boundless. But since no one thinks himself cruel, we excuse it. We rationalize it. Humans perpetuate the most despicable crimes for king and country, or to keep one's race pure and unmixed, or to birth the proletarian utopia, whatever. These, at least, may be pitied as misguided and blind to the evils they commit. But then there are those who inflict egregious cruelty upon others simply because they enjoy it. It's a game, a joke, and they think it's fun. The more pain they cause, the more fear they elicit, the funnier they find it. Dogs can play rough, and it's not uncommon for dogs to get hurt during play. After all, they're very physical and have only claws and teeth for grasping. But I have never seen a dog intentionally hurt another dog for fun. Injuries are accidental and are followed by apologies and concern. When a dog gets hurt, the game is over. This is not to say dogs cannot be cruel. They can be exceedingly cruel, but it's never a game, and they do not do it for fun. Of all God's people, of all God's creatures, only humans think cruelty can be fun. And maybe cats. The longer I live, the more I am convinced of the gravity of human sin. Not venial trivialities like dancing or playing cards on Sunday or a few crude vulgarities. I mean real sin. An utter and godless callousness that can concoct and rationalize, commit, and defend any barbarity, and even do it for fun. Millennia of theologians have warned us that this is not limited just to a few sociopaths, but is entrenched in every human heart, in yours and in mine. The grimmest horrors of history replay every day, only in miniature. And the longer I live, and the more atrocities I have seen, the more I am convinced of the reality, no, the absolute necessity of hell. If there's any justice anywhere in the fabric of the world, if God is just at all, then there must be accountability and consequences. Too much evil goes unpunished in this life, but that cannot mean that there will be no consequences at all. The countless dead of Auschwitz and Dachau, the frozen gazes of the Siberian gulags, the mounded skulls of Pol Pot's Cambodian, the countless dead of Auschwitz and Dachau, the frozen gazes of the Siberian gulags, the mounded skulls of Pol Pot's Cambodia deserve justice. The victims of bullies everywhere, great and small, deserve justice. Cheyenne deserves justice. And God is just. In his poem, The Inferno, Dante Alighieri took great delight in envisioning fitting punishments for the prominent sinners of his day. Liars hanging by their tongues, adulterers wallowing in pools of their own filth. Even if you haven't read Dante, you've heard hellfire preachers describe with a little too much relish the torments of the damned. Similarly, I gleefully imagine what miseries might be appropriate for Cheyenne's and Duncan's abusers. Their ears seared with hot embers, or swinging until their shoulders are dislocated. And then, of course, it hits me. Only humans think cruelty can be fun. I'm a little different. No, I only cloak my cruelty under the guise of justice. Ah, that is the insidious universality of human sinfulness. The Cheyennes and Duncans of this world deserve justice, but more urgently, they need relief. They need for the abuse to be stopped, the scars salved, and the wounds to body and soul soothed. They need, with a word you rarely hear these days, succor. And it makes me wonder, maybe heaven isn't so much a reward for the righteous as a hospital for victimized souls. Yes, there must be accountability and consequences. There must be retribution and recompense. There must be justice. But somehow, I doubt God will enjoy meting it out, but rather will weep. For when all is said and done, justice cannot save the world. Only grace can do that. I wish you a blessed day ahead. Goodbye.